Hello? My name is Alexander. I live in Ukraine, 16 miles from the front line, and I will tell you about the main military news from Ukraine for January 11th. 462,000 occupants are now fighting against Ukraine. Their units are 95% manned. Skibitsky. According to the deputy head of the Main Intelligence Directorate, this allows the racists to rotate and avoid a new wave of mobilization. We should not relax. A new cargo plane with Shaheds has arrived in Russia from Iran, Gumenyuk said. The head of the press center of the Defense Forces of Southern Ukraine clarified that the plane from Tehran arrived in Moscow yesterday, and this may indicate the continuation of supplies of both UAVs and spare parts for them. Iran's support for the terrorist country continues, and this means that new drones can be prepared for launch, she added. DPRK may sell Russia a new type of ballistic missiles, South Korean defense minister tells Yonhap. North Korea may sell Russia new types of tactical guided missiles in addition to the alleged supply of short-range ballistic missiles for use in the war with Ukraine. According to the publication, as of the end of December, North Korea has provided Russia with about 5,000 weapons containers that can hold about 2.3 million 152mm shells, or about 122mm artillery shells. We will not run anywhere. Give us more shells and we will go forward. If we go back, our children are there, and they will die, Volodymyr Zelensky said. The president emphasized that there can be no talk of any alternative in the war, because we are facing an army that has set itself the goal of destroying Ukraine. He noted that they have no other messages and do not want to stop the war. Ukraine will definitely strengthen NATO, especially Eastern Europe. We have experience in using NATO weapons in war, not just in military training, Volodymyr Zelensky said. A Russian subversive group entered Chernihiv region and shot a civilian man, the head of Novorossiysk district military administration, Serhiy Serhiyenko. Russian saboteurs shot a car with a civilian man between the villages of Hermyaka and Leonivka, which is about half a kilometer from the border with Russia. The man killed by the Russians managed to take his child to the bus to Semenivka and was returning to the village of Kostobobrev. He was born in 1961 and worked as a school bus driver. Prosecutor General's office receives first evidence of Russian Army's use of missiles from North Korea. Prosecutor General Kostin. According to him, the results of a preliminary scientific and technical examination confirm that the short-range missile fired on January 2 at the center of Kharkiv was developed by North Korea. The same conclusion was reached by military experts from the Interagency Working Group under the Prosecutor General's office. 12 planes at a time and 26 helicopters per day were destroyed by Ukrainian air defense with the means provided by partners, Zelensky said at a meeting with representatives of the Baltic media. But if the partners had given Ukraine 7 similar systems, people in Kharkiv, Kherson, Odessa would not have died. Occupants hit Park Hotel in the center of Kharkiv with 2 rockets, head of the regional military administration. 10 people are known to have been injured, including journalists from a Turkish publication who were staying at the hotel. EU will produce 1 million shells for Ukraine by spring, European Commission spokesperson Bernsell. The European industry already has production capacities that far exceed 1 million artillery shells, and we will reach this goal by spring, Johanna Bernsell said. At the same time, EU External Action Service spokesperson Peter Stanos said that as of the end of December, Ukraine had received more than 300,000 rounds of ammunition, and 3,300 missiles were delivered from existing stocks. The Ukrainian president made several more statements in Latvia. Zelensky: I am very grateful to President Biden, but more than 70% of the money intended for Ukraine remained in the United States. If we unblock the sky, we will move forward. If we don't, we will be where we are now. Russia is taking men from the temporarily occupied territories and mobilizing them. They are not counted and will not be counted so that fewer corpses return to Russia. Russia is a complex enemy. They are not afraid to kill civilians. Wherever Putin came, there was no economic growth, loss of identity, and frozen conflicts. Without Western funding, Ukrainian pensioners will die, Volodymyr Zelensky said during a visit to Latvia. I can't talk about our losses yet, but take all the losses for 2 years, divide them into quarters, and understand how many people we lose in the 3 months that the supply of weapons is delayed. Russia, to prepare offensive for Putin's election, wants small victories. The president of Ukraine said that the Russian military leadership will try to gain some success in the war against Ukraine before the re-election of dictator Vladimir Putin for the purpose of an information campaign. Therefore, the occupiers are likely to try to make an advance by March. NATO members Turkey, Romania and Bulgaria joined forces to search for mines in the Black Sea. Bloomberg. The effort is aimed at improving shipping safety and supporting Ukraine's vital grain exports. News from the front. Ukrainian armed forces advance 1.5 kilometers in Kharkiv region. The information has not yet been officially confirmed, but we can already see our progress on the updated maps. The fields in the Avdiivka sector are filled with hundreds of destroyed Russian vehicles. We are holding the line. For the second day in a row, the enemy has been actively conducting airstrikes in the Tavria Joint Forces operation area. Yesterday, the occupants carried out 35 airstrikes, fought 45 combat engagements, and made 591 artillery attacks. Total enemy losses amounted to 488 people and 45 pieces of military equipment yesterday. In particular, for tanks, 7 armored personnel carriers, 4 artillery systems, 25 UAVs, and 2 vehicles. 2 important enemy targets were also destroyed. The bridgehead in Krynki is one of the deadliest traps for the Russian army in the entire war build. According to the analyst, about 300 AFU soldiers are holding the village on the left bank of the Dnieper. The area is less than 1 square kilometer. RF sends new armored vehicles, but ours hit them from the right bank. During the defense of Gumenyuk, the RF army lost 153 armored vehicles. Ukraine lost 31. Timeline of the fierce battle for Bakhmut. The video also shows the approximate number of forces that resisted the occupiers. The enemy continues to try to capture Stepov. Another attempt with the support of 2 tanks, NTLBS, and infantry failed. The tanks are damaged, the infantry is dead or has fled. Traditionally, the professional work of the Bradley crew of the 47th Brigade. Thank you for watching our episode. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the latest military news from Ukraine. Goodbye.